Good morning. It is April 2nd, Tuesday. It's gonna be a great day. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Hope you got your week started off right. I got my longboard. Had some nice weather throughout the week, and the weekends just suck. So we're gonna do some skateboarding on lunch. Let's get to work. All right, so we got a lot to talk about, kind of a lot to catch you guys up on. As you can tell, car's kind of in shambles. Get a lot going on this weekend. Actually, to tell you the truth, I did record a vlog this weekend. Tried a different format. Got all the way through the editing process, and kind of I like to try and review my vlogs before I post them. And I just wasn't really feeling it. I didn't really care for the new format, and so I didn't even post it. So we skipped that. But a lot happened this weekend, and there's a lot, and so I want to really kind of catch you guys up with what's going on all together. That way we're kind of up to speed or whatever, and kind of start this week off right. Even though it's already Tuesday, and the week's almost halfway over. Well, by the time you're seeing this, the week will be halfway over. So, anyway, to kind of catch you guys up, so so starting in chronological order. So we did get our requests accepted, or our final our post inspection requests were accepted from the seller of the Greenmont house. So we got that squared away. Our house, so everything is lined up. All the paperwork is where the paperwork needs to be. We've got our date set for our closing, which is great. So that'll take place on Friday the 12th, I believe. Yeah, Friday the 12th. We have the weekend to actually move out of our place and move into the new place on Gorman. So that's pretty exciting. Everything for the most part worked out the way we wanted. While we're not going to be able to, while we didn't get agree upon a professional installing the new roof, she did kind of meet us halfway and paid for the supplies to redo the roof. And I have enough people in my circle that know how to re-roof a house, so just get a couple of those people to come over and help, and I'm sure we'll be able to knock it out in a weekend. So never done it before in my life. I'm usually pretty handy with home improvement types of things, so I feel like I can pick up on it pretty quick. So if this is going to save us 8 to 10 grand, so be it. So at any rate, so we're going to get that taken care of. Probably not this. I don't know if we'll do it this summer or next summer. We'll have to see, depending on funding and stuff like that, and what needs to take place. But the good news is one of the professional roofers that we had come out and inspect the house. He told us you've got at least 5 years on this house, barring any catastrophes or anything like that, which is fine. So we're going to take his advice and then go from there. So we're looking to re-shingle it either this summer or next summer. Also this weekend we finished cleaning out Amanda's studio, which was kind of it was rough. I mean, the studio space that this is the first studio that she's had. It was kind of like a pinnacle moment in her career. Kind of taking that step forward from having photo shoots inside our house to in a professional setting at a studio. Now, granted, the space, a lot went into deciding where we were, what we were looking for in a studio. But at the end of the day, since we're fairly new to the scene and fairly new to this type of the business, we kind of erred on the safe side of our budget, which kind of netted, it was great because the space was relatively inexpensive, but it didn't provide a good solution for photography. There was one window and it was back in the corner, so like having natural light for her photo shoots wasn't a feature that this studio had. Now, it did have plenty of space, it had plenty of office space for like meeting potential clients and displaying artwork and things like that, and revealing, galleries to her customers. It had plenty of space for that, but we, as far as like photo shoots and things like that, the only clients she could service were kids, kid photo shoots and like small headshot like corporate headshots and things like that, where she only had like one or two subjects, in her frame. So what does that mean going forward? So yes, we closed the studio down. We're still operating, out of the house and things like that. She's kind of moved away from like the family photography portion of the photography business, and more so into the wedding photography. So she doesn't have a lot of need for a studio right now, but I think we might evolve that a little bit. I'm not sure if she's planning on going back into family portraits and things like that, just to kind of get pick up some business during the wedding off season. But if we were to look into another studio, we would probably want to that would kind of be at the top of the list, making sure that it's an open space with plenty of windows and natural light to just make it an overall better experience for her clients. So we're going to look into it and see. We also want to look at her business model and her business plan and see what her next steps are, and if this is what needs to happen. That was a big thing that happened this weekend. It's kind of sad. It really is. It's kind of sad. But on to bigger and better things, I guess. So so that kind of brings you guys up to speed from the weekend. So today I've got don't really have a lot planned as far as videography goes. Would like to get some more editing done on promotional videos and things like that. I've got a few clients that I need to set up some correspondence with as far as meetings, and we've had that initial phone call, and they didn't make a decision on the phone, so they wanted to talk over their spouse. So we need to kind of get back into those conversations. What can I do to earn your business? What's how close are you to making a decision? What can I do to help? Types of things. We also have a potential client phone call today at 7 p.m. So looking forward to that. She's up in the Akron area, up where Megan's at. So really, really excited for that. Hopefully we can win that business. We've had a pretty good conversation back and forth on Facebook. So she pretty much has all of the information pertaining to my service. The only thing that's left really to go over is the final products that she's going to receive, and then I'd like to kind of get some more information about her and her fiance, and just try to get a feel for get a feel for them, because that's one of the big things that goes into creating a piece of content, going into creating a wedding film for your clients, is make sure you know your clients so that you can portray them in the film. So it's just not a generic film for a wedding film. You want to make sure it's specific to your customer. Best way to do that is by having conversations, dialogue, finding as much out as you possibly can. Remember, conversation 80-20. You're talking 20% of the time, they're talking 80% of the time. If you're talking more than them, you're doing it wrong. So really, that's one of the things that I personally need to work on. But 80-20 is a good split for conversations with potential clients. So we're gonna get to work, gonna get this day going, and who knows? Maybe if the sun comes out and we get a few extra degrees. Maybe we'll go do a little skateboarding on lunch. So we'll see. So all right, guys, we'll see you in a few. 9 to 5 is over. We are on our way home. Got some more client profile sheets printed out because it ran out of those. And yeah, just closing out the workday. So the topic I wanted to talk about today is 5 things that, as a client or as a bride or groom, 5 things that your videographer needs to know before your wedding day. So these are the things that are going to help help the final product. These are things that are going to help the day of the ceremony. All this stuff is going to be beneficial to to you and your experience with any videographer. If your videographer is not asking you these questions or is not getting this information, this is something that you should actively reach out to them and say, hey, I've got this information for you, thought it would help, streamline the process, yada yada yada, and just make for a overall better final product. So number 1 on this list, and these are in no particular order, but number 1 is probably the most important, and that is your music likes and dislikes. Music is a very subjective thing, very personal thing, and everybody has their own preferences when it comes to music and the type of music that is being played at their wedding. So this is something that you can put together a list of the types of genres you like, types of artists that you like, or things like that will give your videographer an idea on what types of music to use in the film, or what genres of music to use when, and what your likes and dislikes are. This also is kind of goes a long way as far as copyright material goes. Since most videographers won't actually purchase the copyright, for the song, your particular songs, this helps them kind of dial in and figure out what type of song to use to still fit the mood, still fit the overall feel of the day and things like that. So number 1 is music likes and dislikes. So number 2 might be just about as important as number 1. Number 2 is the must-have shots, right? So if you have this grand idea of what shots you like, or what style of shot you're looking for, whether it's for the entire film or it's for a particular section of the film, like a first look, or the vows, or the letter readings, or whatever the case may be. This is a good note or a good clue for your videographer to make sure that they're hitting those specific shots. And it also kind of goes in without saying. It also goes without saying about who's in those shots, right? You might have a parent, a grandparent, or a parent, or an aunt or uncle who might not be around much longer, and getting making sure that you get those shots, that's vitally important. So not only is it who's in the shot, but what shots you're looking for and what kind of style you're kind of going for. Don't be afraid to ask your videographer, like, hey, I've got a couple wedding videos that I like from this videographer that I found on Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube or whatever. Do you mind if I send them to you to see if you can not necessarily copy the formula, but make sure that a similar shot or something is in my final film. Ask your videographer. Most times, if you reach out like that, they'll be more than happy to at least look at the film that you like. If they're not, I would be a little cautious. I mean, obviously, you're not asking them to copy and paste, but you're just trying to make sure that the feel of your film, of the film that you have in your head, meets what they're looking at. So number three is going to be an important one for the day of the event. Number 3 is your timeline. This is something that the videographer should be asking for regardless. If they don't, most photographers or DJs will have this kind of setup where it's like a page where it just shows you, when everything's happening in time, and that's something that's important for them to make sure that they're hitting number 2, and that is getting the shots that you're looking for, right? And that gives them an opportunity, okay, this is when I have to have this shots, and this is when this is happening. I don't need anything from when you're shooting, when you're getting bridal shots with your bridesmaids. I don't need any of that stuff. I can get that during the actual ceremony, and I can actually switch gears and go take establisher shots or B-roll, or get drone shots or whatnot. So having a timeline for your videographer is extremely important, so that they can make sure that they're at the right spot at the right time to get everything they possibly need. Arrivals to the reception, introductions at the reception, who's giving speeches, not just the timeline either, the who and the what is very important too. So like if your Uncle John is giving a speech, and he's not like the best man or anything like that, he's just giving a speech just to give a speech, the videographer is going to want to know that, so he can make sure that he has a good shot of that person, where he can work with the DJ and the your wedding coordinator on where they're going to stand to give this speech. This is, it's also important to, if you want to go one step further, get some type of contact information and reach out to this Uncle John and find out what they're going to be talking about, right? Because if you can get like some B-roll of what they're talking about in their speech and kind of like overlay that, so it's not just the cookie cutter approach to this shot or to this scene is, one camera on the speech giver and one camera on the couple, and then kind of splicing the two together. But if you can, do that, and then also splice together, maybe they talk about the relationship that they have, and how they're always making each other laugh, and they always enjoy each other's company. You can get like kind of like a B-roll of like the two of them laughing together, or the groom telling a joke to the, without the audio obviously, and just getting the natural reaction of the bride smiling and laughing, like, and them just having a good time. You don't have to force something that you've shot, just because like that stuff happens naturally. But you can kind of set that up, like, okay, I know they're going to do this, so now when you're doing like your couple shots after the ceremony, but before the reception, you can say, okay, now I want you to tell her something funny. I want you guys to laugh. I want to get some really good shots of you guys laughing, knowing that Uncle John is going to talk about that stuff, but not spoiling it for them because they don't know. So if you want to go kind of above and beyond, getting contact information for the people that are giving speeches, to kind of reach out and say, hey, it might be a little too early for this, but I'm the one that's going to be videoing the ceremony for X and Z, and I was just curious what types of things you're going to be talking about, because I want to make sure that I kind of capture them in their moment, and it'll just add to the overall experience in the final film. So we just finished out with the family, bike riding, walking, and skateboarding or longboarding. Had a lot of fun trying to get my heart rate to slow down a little bit because we were going to be on a phone call with a client here, potential client rather, here in a few minutes. So just trying to kind of calm down a little bit. Probably not the best idea to kind of get exert yourself before you are on the phone with the potential client. We'll see. So anyway, so we're working on that. So while we're waiting, we'll go and continue with the vlog, or continue with our top 5 things that you want your videographer to know. So number 4 is the location and the size of your guest list. This is important for a couple different reasons. A, if they need to change their equipment, setup or whatever for, longer Zoom, because of the, some limitations on the venue. Some churches require photographers, videographers to be at the back of the church and things like that. That's all important stuff that the videographer should know about. That's something that you should be telling them prior to your event. This is something that will help them be more prepared for your the specific venue and the specific limitations and requirements and things like that. Guest list size, that's a big thing, really, because knowing how many people are going to be there, what the crowd's going to be like, might determine what closer range, wider angle lenses they bring. It might also affect what type of audio equipment they bring, if they need to bring additional audio equipment. This kind of goes along with different types of speeches and things like that. Like if you're going to have the best man and the maid of honor give speeches, the two fathers, the father of the bride, the father of the groom give speeches, and then there's going to be somebody that gives a prayer. Trying to switch all that audio and mic all those people, ahead of time is the best course of action. And if they know, hey, I'm going to need to mic 5 different people at the reception to make sure I get consistent audio throughout, they'll want to know that before the day of the event. So if they have to purchase additional equipment or rent additional audio equipment, that's all things that would be beneficial for your videographer to know. So make sure you tell them about your specific needs as far as the venue, guest list, speeches like that, to kind of give them prepared. So that's number 4. Alright guys, so client phone call went really well. The bride wasn't too keen on being recorded and uploaded to YouTube as far as this conversation goes, so I respected her wishes and didn't record it, so we'll have to find another bride to do that, so I can bring you kind of an idea on how I talk to my clients, how I try to work with them over the phone to, at least give them the best experience over the phone, so that way we try and win more business, show them the most value. Discovery questions, having the conversation. I've got a couple more phone calls coming up late this week and then early next week, so we might be able to get one of those couples to let us to record them and upload for that vlog. So stay tuned for that for sure. But so the last thing on this top 5 list for when you're a customer looking for a wedding videographer, one of the things you want your videographer to know is your expectation. What are your expectations for the final film? What are you looking to get out of it? There's nothing worse than hiring a professional and not knowing what you're going to get at the end. Right? I've heard so many horror stories of people just getting random clips, not even a full film, and people are under the impression that they're getting full videos when, full unedited video of the ceremony. Understand what your videographer is doing as far as the delivery process is concerned. What final product are you getting? What final product do you want? Right? Is that something that you can get? Don't ever sign a contract if you don't know what you're going to get in return for your hard-earned money. So that's my top 5 list of things that your videographer needs to know before you hire them, right? And if they're not willing to kind of meet you on some of these or meet you halfway on some of these, then I would keep looking. To be honest with you, keep looking. There's a videographer out there for you. You will find what you need at a price point that you feel comfortable with, and get the final product you deserve. So, alright guys, well, I apologize for the audio quality in this vlog. My microphone cord seems to have a short in it, somewhere in here, and yeah, so I'm gonna have to contact Tascam about that, because this thing is less than a year old, so I'm assuming it has some type of warranty on it. They're a good company, so I imagine, we'll see what happens. If I have to buy a new one, I have to buy a new one. But this little, this little Tascam device this is awesome. This is fantastic. Not a problem in the world. But you know, shorts and wires happen all the time, so no worries. But anyway, I do apologize for the audio of the audio of this vlog. On camera audio, it's all I got right now, so that's sorry about that. I'm going to finish editing the vlog, get it uploaded tonight, and release it tomorrow. So really do appreciate you guys watching. I hope you had a great day. Hey, halfway through the week, let's keep it rolling. Thanks, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.